everyone! Today I am going to be talking to you about 5 well-known characters in the Bible and 4 characters in the Bible that you should know more about. Let's start! First, the 5 well-known characters of the Bible. Number 1, Moses. We see him as the man who led the Israelites out of Egypt with God's guidance. We also see him as the responsible man who took his father-in-law's advice, Jethro, to take wise men with him to solve the little and big problems in the camp. Number 2, Abraham. Abraham held on to God's promises. Everywhere he went, he praised the Lord for his goodness and guidance. Abraham is called father of all nations. He is also called father of faith. Number 3, Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his time, and he walked faithfully with God. He saved his family and all the animals by following God's instructions. Number 4, David. We see him as the boy who straight on battled their enemy warrior Goliath. We also see him as the man who became Israel's king by following God's instructions. Last but not the least, number 5, Elijah. We see him as the faithful prophet of God who listened and obeyed even through times of troubles. He proved to the people that one true God even when they worshiped the idol Baal. Next, we are now going to study about the 5 Bible characters in the Bible that you should study more about. Number 1, Ezra and Nehemiah. When the Temple of Jerusalem was once again destroyed during the reign of Persia, Ezra helped rebuild its temple while Nehemiah helped rebuild its walls. Both went out of their way to help God's people recover from captivity. Number 2, Elisha. You may know Elisha as Prophet Elijah's assistant before Elijah was taken by God. Elisha showed complete obedience and willingness to follow God's call.
When Elisha was first called by God, he was plowing his field with his oxen. Oxen and plowing gear are expensive, but he immediately burned up his wagon and cooked his oxen to feed the people of his village.
He gave up everything he has to follow Elijah and learn God's will. Number 3, Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah prophesies the fall of Israel into captivity. You may know Jeremiah as the weeping prophet. This is because he spent his whole life preaching a message that went unheard. Jeremiah faithfully preached the message even though he was being ignored. He remained true to God's message until the very end. Number 4, Amos. You may know him as Prophet Isaiah's father. Amos is Israel's prophet who accuses Israel of breaking their covenant with God and how their idolatry has led to neglect of the poor. Before Amos became a prophet of the Lord, he was a shepherd and a fig tree farmer. Last but not the least, number 5, Joel. Joel is a biblical author. In his book, he tells the Israelites to repent to God so that they would not get trouble in the future. And then later on in his book, he talks about the day of the Lord when God will confront all evil among all the nations. Joel brought hope to the Israelites. He also talked about God's mercy unto his people. Thank you so much for listening to me for today. I hope you learned something. Goodbye!